I believe I am streaming. So it is Tuesday morning, 10:36, and if you've been following along at all, you know that this project is humming along, and as of a couple days ago, I decided that this particular sequence right here, it looks okay, but I didn't feel like there was enough keyframes. Did I just say that right? There were enough keyframes. I need to learn English. It's my native language, actually. Okay, so so I went ahead and I went back to Blender to redo the keyframes and the ink. And let's go ahead and minimize Vegas. And then I brought the new animation into OpenTunes. I actually did the inking in Blender, but then I did the painting, the color stuff, in Krita. And I won't get into why that can be a good thing. It just depends on what you're doing. I would say as often as not, it's just as well to do inking in Krita, OpenTunes. But anyway, this is what we have. I went ahead and painted him in, and you can see it looks fairly rough, but these guys are so small on the screen that the reason it looks rough is because when you're filling something, areas that are so small, you can see you get a lot of little sort of blurred areas around the fringes of the color. But basically, in context, it looks fine, especially over top of this noisy rock wall that they're climbing. So anyway, what I need to do now is restore his headband and his ponytail, which I will create a looping animation that will track to his skull, not using motion tracking. I mean, I'll track it by hand, but the idea will be that it'll be just a loop for his ponytail. And then what I just did a moment ago was the other ninja who's climbing, and you can see he not only has more keyframes, so his animation climbing up is a little smoother, but also I'm doing that classic anime thing on twos where it's going to toggle between two frames, so it looks like he's struggling, which I think is, in terms of the aesthetics of the show, is definitely a step in the right direction. So, with that in mind, we need to go ahead. Now, what I was going to toy around with here, I should say this. One of the things, I'm just going to show you something here that's been going on, because a lot of this project has sort of been about sharing my experience working with different software. And as you can see in this shot, you see how the character is like disappearing and stuff. Okay, what's interesting about that is that the original sequence of images for the entire scene, which consists of a dozen shots, came out of Blender. So it's a 1,000 long image sequence, 1,000 frame long image sequence. And when I brought it into OpenTunes, I loaded it. I didn't import it. So it's always referencing the image sequence on the hard drive where I originally saved it out of Blender. So what's interesting about it is this scene was never touched. In the process of tweaking and making some adjustments to this shot was never touched. And I've seen this happen a number of times, but what seems to be going on is OpenTunes gets a little confused about the images. And it wasn't like these frames were overwritten or anything, but now, as you can see, this is pretty badly broken. Now I could go into the sub-X sheet, and it may be pretty easy to fix. Oh, that's the camera move. I see. I've got those linked together in the schematic so that the camera move, which is essentially disabled. I actually wound up later deciding I didn't want that camera move. Okay, So let's get rid of it. Okay, so look at this. Okay, this is interesting. So now we can see, and it is a little confusing because this is a sub-X sheet as well. But the only thing showing is this sub-X sheet, and you can see how botched up it is. So let's go down into that. All these swirly lines are actually just shadows that are composited together. But you can see here, this is another thing I've been noticing with OpenTunes. You see how in these drawings he comes up to the edge here? And obviously this edge right here should be at the top of the frame. And the salient point is that just a short time ago it was. And now it's not. And obviously we got to turn off the onion skins here. But the upshot is there are some things that have gotten corrupted. And it could well be that if we really grokked it, we'd find out, well, somehow that was my fault, as likely as not. But I will say that OpenTunes blows up often enough to suggest that when things happen that are strange, it might be OpenTunes' fault. So I'm still thinking about delving into the OpenTunes code. But when you think about that, it's like programming. Put it this way: rolling your own application. And if I was going to do it, I would do it in the browser. I would actually sacrifice tablet pressure in favor of having everything run in the browser, and I would implement the whole thing in JavaScript. Probably use PHP for the back end for saving files, or maybe Node.js, but I haven't really worked with Node. So anyway, I'm going to jump over to my channel and see if I am in fact live streaming JS. And hey, I'm back. Hey, Oscar. Yeah, I've been around, but a little distracted with other things. We had visitors over the weekend, so. Alright, so now we've got this drawing, and I'm going to go ahead and let's drag this over here so we can reduce the opacity of the drawing. And let's go ahead and match up this sketch with hey Darren, I appreciated your tip the other day. Believe it or not, as I'm saying this, I don't even remember what the tip was. But I remember looking at it and going, yeah, okay, that's kind of useful. Okay, so let's just take a quick look. I'm going to reset my start marker here, and like I said, I just didn't think that this sequence was that there just were enough. There just were not enough keyframes. So yeah, this will be better. I like that way better, actually. Okay. And I'll probably, the next shot that's screwed up, that OpenTunes got corrupted, that's fine. I'll probably just keep the original because I don't remember. There is one point where the shadow is actually out of sync, but it all goes by so fast I don't think it matters. So now what I want to do is just start getting this guy blocked in. The question becomes, do we want to add detail over top of this and then ink that, or do we want to just dive in with a Toons raster level? This is actually probably a really good exercise because I have not done this very often at all, to just go ahead and ink, straight away with a Toons raster level. Tips showing about the X-Sheet toolbar. No, it was later than that. That one was a couple weeks ago. No, you had a video. I watched the whole thing. Like I said, because I'm in this frame of mind, I'm not remembering what it was about. But yeah, your most recent video that you posted, I went ahead and watched the whole thing. As I recall, it was pretty good. Okay, so now I'm gonna say, let's hit the S key, and I'm gonna grab this and Control C. Now here, what I want to do is I've got to draw a dot so it creates a new keyframe. And what I'm going to do is just look at where the keys are and put these. I'm going to go ahead and put these drawings in there. There may be there may be a smarter way to insert these keys than just starting to draw. Okay, and I think here we're gonna probably set the center here. Rotate that just a bit. I'm gonna hit Control C again. I don't know if it'll actually do. Nope, doesn't do the intelligent thing, and so I'm gonna have to definitely fix that up a bit. But I don't want to completely redraw the hand. I'm just finding that I get a little more accurate results if it's possible to copy and paste some lines. That seems to be a little better in terms of getting those consistent results from frame to frame. So anyway, there's that. We'll deal with the lines last. Now we can see an obvious problem that I hadn't considered. Do we do the kludge or do we not do the kludge? Let's do the kludge. The kludge would be to take the A key and shrink this down. I'm going to shrink this down until it matches roughly the size of his hands. Okay? I'm going to set that there. And actually, I'm thinking I'm even going to do that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is go into the schematic, which I already have on this other screen. Where the heck's my schematic? Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to parent column 5 to column 4 so that column 5, which was my sketch, inherits the same translation. And that is one thing I do like about OpenToonz, man. It's really easy to set up articulations and stuff. But see, now his entire body is too... Okay, so we can't do the kludge. Bad news. Bad news. Dave, you drew his hand too large. That looks pretty good. I can adjust a little bit to make that work. Okay, so okay, so this is kind of interesting. It seems like, if you can see this, it seems like now that I've translated it, although I had set the opacity to quite a low value, it appears, as you can see, OpenToonz is ignoring that now. Okay. Stuff you didn't know. If you adjust the opacity of a layer and then that layer is translated, the opacity of the layer is lost. Okay. Okay. Whatever, guys. You know, that's what it does. Okay, so now we got to remember here that this hair was Naruto hair. So we'll just give him Naruto hair. Okay, so now I want to look at what the next hand is doing. So, and let's go ahead and zoom in. I'm sick and tired of working at such a small scale. Yeah, that's so much easier. Cool beans. That looks pretty good. We could even put in the faint hint of a fingernail there, right? just because we can. Alright, so now let's go hit the N key so you see things at their actual scale. Boom. Yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it? That the opacity, whoops, that's not good. The opacity of the sketch layer is destroyed. Darn it, I keep making his fingers too skinny. Okay, I think that's going to work. So the problem here is I have to keep turning this off to be able to see what I'm doing. So, you know, obviously the whole point of turning the opacity down was to not have to keep turning it off. But it turns out I do have to keep turning it off. So now what I'm going to do is look at the next drawing. Okay, so let's turn this back on. And you can see there's actually quite a bit of movement in his head. So just to be fair here, I am going to redo this, the what has been affectionately dubbed the Naruto hair, in order to get the scale a little closer to where it probably should be. And then I'm going to select it. And then I'm going to select it. Control C. Control V. Okay, so this is another thing that kind of bugs me. Is I wish that my selection would be retained. Let me hit Control X and see what happens. Okay. Okay, good. Now I should be able to go here. But see, I have to re-grab it again. And obviously the rest of his head needs to be drawn. The only reason I'm doing this is just to save myself from having his hair chatter. Okay, I'm sure you guys know what I mean by chatter. If the drawing is a little bit different from frame to frame, you're gonna see it. And down below, I actually did that very thing deliberately. So we're gonna have actually two keyframes that alternate. Oops, didn't mean to resize that. Sorry. Okay. That's cool. So it's probably worth getting this. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Okay. I think we're going to go here. Go to the next drawing. And see, I wish I didn't have to select it again. It's a little bit silly. Okay, so now the rest of these... Well, wait a second. Yes, as you can see, 102, 100, 102, 100. So the rest of these frames are duplicates. So just so I don't get confused downstream, I'm going to delete all these. I have them in there. In fact, if I want to be smart about it, what I could do is go Control C, Control V, and there we go. Okay, so now when we loop it, he's obviously disappearing, so I'm thinking, yes, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. So let me see from here to here. Okay, yeah, so we'll put it down a little bit. But of course, once again, OpenTunes forgot my selection. Oh, yes, here and here. Okay, so unfortunately I have to select it again. I'll set that just a little bit. Cool. All right. What time is it? 10. It's about almost 11 o'clock. Wow. Okay. So, if I can get the key elements sketched in here. Okay, so the hand locks there. Yes. Okay, so once again, let's zoom way the heck in here. And golly, I hate the fact that this is so... it's really annoying. I can't make the column semi-transparent if it's been translated. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Well, that's why I talked to Turtletooth about getting the grok in the code. Because frankly, there's a lot of stuff in OpenTunes that is what do you say, buggy? Honestly, there's things I've noticed in the last few days where I'm going, there's no way, there's literally no way that the developers ever actually tested this. No way. Because any developer in their right mind would never let the software out the door. You'd never release it with the kind of bizarre behaviors we see. Oh, it's an open source project, so you can't really blame. Well, who do you blame? Who do you blame when software is funky? I was really debating mentioning a piece of software called PAP. And PAP stands for Plastic Animation Paper. It's a very old program. And it has a few idiosyncrasies, like as you can see right here. But for keyframing and inking, it's a pretty solid program. Anime PAP. Okay, that's not really what I wanted to do. So when I was working out some of the keyframes here, I was using PAP just for the heck of it. But the reason it's the interesting thing about it is the more of this you do, the more you are interested not so much in the features of the software you're using as whether the software is reliable or not. It's like you get to where it's like, I'd rather have less features but have the thing not blow up every 5 seconds. It's pretty amazing actually how much that happens. Okay, now I think we want to be careful here. Yeah, that's not quite going to work. I'm going to do this kind of the unconventional way. I'm going to grab this, snag. There's nothing you can do in PAP that you can't do in OpenTunes. So it's purely, in fact, there's nothing you can do, I mean, yes, there's nothing you can do in PAP that you can't do in OpenTunes. The converse is not true, okay? But it's really stable. It doesn't blow up. And you can zoom in real tight on your on your drawing to really fine-tune the ink and stuff. It also will export, like you could give it a file name dot and specify 4 digits and save it as a TIFF so that you can take anything out of PAP and directly drag it into OpenTunes as a raster level and do a quick cleanup on it and convert it to a Tunes raster level. So it plays nice with OpenTunes, in my obviously not humble opinion. Okay, guys, now if you're critically minded, you're going to probably say, Dave, come on, this is what you need to do. Get it right. So what I'm going to do is just shrink it a bit. Okay. We'll put it like that. Control C. Control V. Oh, darn it. C again. Control C. Go to the next frame. Control V. Next frame. Control V. Next frame. Control V. Control V. Okay. There, that didn't hurt so much, did it? And why did I do that? So that I can just not have this look stupid. Okay. Now I'm going to go, it seems like if I go Control X and V, then it retains it. Oh wait, I guess I don't need to retain it because I've already cut and pasted them in. So what is going on here? This is kind of interesting. It's like I'm seeing the... Okay. You see what's going on here? That's weird. Normally in the past, what I've noticed is OpenTunes will only show the onion skins for the active level. Now it appears that's not necessarily the case. Oh no. Well, what's going on, Oscar, is the developer is, I think he's maybe Dutch or something like that. He's a European guy. Seems like a good guy. What he's doing is he's completely rewriting the software, okay? And he's been talking about it for years, okay? So the new plastic animation paper is coming. That announcement has been out there for years. And as far as I can tell, he's accomplished nothing in the last, however many years. He keeps talking like it's going to be here tomorrow, and nothing ever happens. Why? I don't know. Okay, so now we got to turn this back on. Okay, so this shot here is wrong-o. So I'm going to go ahead and just erase. And let's check. Yeah, that works. Okay, cool. So what I was trying to do here is just basically get the hands blocked in there because, in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to draw an X there, X there, because I wanted to have my original sketch. Oopsie poo. I need to erase these again just so I don't get confused. I wanted to just leave the sketch in there, but I can't. Are you using the new version of OpenTunes now? I actually don't even know what version I have. I've always used Turtletooth's builds. And this says 1.1.3, But I've also noticed that there isn't much correlation between the release number and the release number that the OpenTunes application reports. So you can be using 1.2, and because the programming, you know, the attention to detail is you can think you're using XYZ version, and the software will tell you that you're using PDQ version. So just something I've noticed. It's not a big deal. The bottom line would be, why do you care? Features or stability? If you care because of features, I would say I haven't really seen any features probably in the last year in any versions of OpenTunes that would compel me to want to definitely be using that next version. Stability, kind of the same thing. I mean, basically, OpenTunes is a very crash-prone program, and I think it's probably going to be a long time before that's no longer true, if ever. So, screw it. It is what it is. This is what you get. Get over it, is kind of my what I tell myself, right? Okay, I don't really like this. Okay, you got to close that off, otherwise it won't fill. So right here we have a little problem. So for that reason, I haven't been quick to upgrade. You guys have heard me. So I express my opinions knowing that I'm not necessarily qualified to be an authority. But I've done a lot of software development over the years with a lot of different languages. And so I'm coming around to a point here. Here's my point. Go try to find someone else on YouTube who's doing what I'm doing, using OpenTunes, or frankly any software, to create a credible, finished animation. Well, for the most part, those people don't exist. And it's a fair argument. If I really knew what I'm doing, why am I on YouTube? Why am I not working somewhere as an animator? My answer is very unusual. And my answer is that, and I have a unique perspective because of this, is that I've been in business by myself, for myself, since 1991. I haven't had a real job since I was 24 years old. And my business is doing fine. And so for me, there is literally no reason to ever work for anybody else. Okay, so for that reason, I'm just kind of an island out here, right? But the point I was making is that the people who program the software, generally speaking, do not much use the software. There's never going to be a rigorous testing of the updates that gets into the minutia of scenarios that are going to cause the software to blow up. It's up to us as essentially freebie beta testers working for freebie developers to work together to find the problems. That's one thing I like about Jeremy, aka Turtletooth, is that he is using the software, helping develop the software, and he's also teaching the software. I believe he teaches some classes or something. So he's got a unique perspective. Okay, so let me double check this. Right, do we want to copy that frame? I think not. Okay, and here he's reaching, so we've got to go. I'm just gonna put some guidelines here, making life harder, not easier. So it's a bummer, but tis what it is. Okay, so do I even want my onion skins on? I don't think so. Okay, he's grabbing there. Is that clean? That's not clean. Let's fix that. All right. Let me look here at the comments. See other people doing full length. Well, I mean, even 5 minutes though. You know, what I'm doing on YouTube. Honestly, the main reason I did it, the main reason I'm doing what I'm doing today is basically 2 reasons. Number one, it's personal development. It's a good discipline to put myself out there and just be myself in front of the whole world and possibly fail miserably. I think that's a good thing to do. And the second thing is, yeah, okay. Yeah, because you're more of a comics guy than an animation guy, even though you're doing both. But the other thing is, I couldn't find this. I mean, I've got a playlist, I think it's public on my channel, that has a bunch of like behind the scenes of the making of Kill la Kill and stuff like that. So there's some really good stuff from Japan, at least enough to keep you busy for a few hours about the creation of anime. But frankly, I was really looking for something more like what I'm doing right now, so where I could look over the artist's shoulder and see how he does what he does, or she, as the case may be, obviously. I couldn't find it. It's just like not out there. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. So, you know, kudos to me, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and go to full screen so that I can get zoomed in here better. And I'm dealing a little too much here with the technical and not enough with the drawing. I want to get back to just drawing here, you know. So let's just do that and hope it goes pretty well. I'm gonna this is what I enjoy about animation, is the minutia of inking and paint. I really don't enjoy very much. It's cool when it's done, if it looks good, but it's not where the fun is for me so much. I like the actual drawing and animating, making things move is where I actually think really more where my talent lies anyway. Yeah, I don't know what Kanan. I haven't talked to Kanan in a while, but you know, it's the question of being social media connected, you know, versus being what I tend to favor is I'm really not that connected. I mean, this YouTube channel with these live streams is a real change of direction for me, and I'm not doing it for any other reason than like I said, the personal challenge, number one, and number two, I am actually thinking logically. Whoopsie poo, it looks like OpenTunes might be acting a little silly about the pressure sensitivity. I think that as a platform for finding an audience, YouTube may prove to be a good proving ground for this concept. So in other words, if we can develop an audience on YouTube, then maybe that kind of sort of demonstrates that there's an audience for this show. Is he? Okay. Yeah, like I said, I haven't talked to Kanan in a while. He does his thing and I do mine. I mean, we used to hang out together more because we had a group here in Fort Wayne, Indiana that was it's basically for people that were interested in drawing comic art, and we would just all get together once a week or every 2 weeks or whatever, you know, and That group kind of fell apart. It's been a few years now, actually. Yeah, it's like anything, you know. It's, for whatever reason, sometimes the enthusiasm wanes a bit. Okay, so I'm going to work backwards here and forwards. To get these details. Now we don't want to get lazy, but on the other hand, we do want to bear in mind that this is going to go by quite fast. So the level of detail from frame to frame doesn't have to be like ridiculously perfect. Okay, this I can reuse. In fact, I think I'm going to actually grab all of this. Go to the next frame, paste it in, and look at how we might modify it a little bit. Yeah, the problem is I need to get rid of... Okay, let me zoom out. I know this is a kludgy way to do it, but let's do it like this. Okay, so now I can hit my eraser and get rid of these guidelines. And then what I'll do is I'll turn on the onion skins so I know where to put it. Probably shouldn't be using my mouse right now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is turn on my onion skins. Sorry, go here, put on an onion skin there, and go back to full screen. Oops, you got to have your mouse over the correct screen. Hit the S key, cut this, and I guess I didn't need to cut and paste it. I could have just dragged it. And what I'm going to do is go here. Okay, now let's fix this. Let's take the S key again and grab this. Do we want to go in or out? I believe on the original sketch we went in. Okay. At the end of the day, it probably doesn't matter much as long as it's got a little bit of difference to it. That'll work. Okay, and let's grab the S key yet again. Take this, and let's put it like that. And I actually think I've got an extra keyframe in there, but I'm going to wind up getting rid of by the way. Okay, back to the B key. Oh, let's just fix this up. Cleany, cleany. There's going to be a problem when it comes time to do fills. Alright, erase key, B, boom. Okay, this right here, what I'm doing right here is a good example where working in PAP feels like this. I mean, it's honestly doing the inking with Toon's raster levels is not too bad. And it's probably one of the more stable aspects of the software just because I think it's one of the more mature aspects of the software. I think Toon's raster levels came early in the process. Now I don't know that because I'm not really some kind of guru on the history of OpenToons, but or of Toon's Harlequin and all the rest. But this is actually the reason I was hesitant to say much about PAP is that I enjoy using it, but honestly, like I said, when there's really nothing you're going to do in PAP that you can't do in OpenToons, so why bring it up, you know? Okay, let's go with that. Let's get out of full screen mode, and honestly, I think this frame is, what's the point? I want to grab these four. Yes, I think so. What if I grab that whole area? Nope, can't do it. Okay, let's turn the sketch off completely. And let's just loop it and see what we have. That looks pretty good. You agree? Not bad at all. Cool beans. Save all, and let's go steal this from another scene, or another shot. Okay, I don't remember exactly where all my tunes levels are. Sorry, tunes raster levels, as opposed to, yeah, that would be, that's a painting, so that's just a single frame painting. So yeah, probably here actually would have, yes, here we go. Let's go to this level, and this is exactly what I was looking for. Let's grab this through here. Control C, up out of there, back to here, back to here, Control V. There you go. Now I got my palette back, and now I can take my outlines, and the first thing I need to do is make those match what I've had in the other scenes. Except that might be problematic because it's hard to see, so I'm going to make it on the light side. That's okay. That'll get me through just the filling process. So this is going to be normal mode. And where's the flash? Right here. And we should probably do freehand. I mean, frankly, most of this should probably be done in freehand mode. Next. Okay, let's definitely turn the... I think since we have our palette, we can leave our style editor shut, so... Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and do the... just get the flesh done. Okay, there's a little bit of a problem there, in that the... so we're almost done with the flesh. Once we get that in, okay, same mistake again. Do 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 do. Whoa. Okay, see, we got a problem there. Boom. Boom. Back to the fill tool. This time I'm not going to forget. And look at that, I'm getting better. Okay, so now we can see that we have a consistent problem. It's going to have to be fixed. Looks like we're good. Freehand fill tool. Freehand fill tool. Okay, is that it for the flesh? I believe it is. So now we got the costume, and I think for the costume we'll go into... Actually, let's have some... I was thinking of doing a range, but probably not. Whoops. So this again is kind of the advantage of using tunes raster levels, is generally speaking, tunes is more amenable. Okay, darn it. Control C. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and save. Save all. Okay. So why is this not filling properly? Let's take a quick look, and there seems to be the problem right there. And let's see if we're going to run into this again and again, and you can bet we are. Okay. Zoom back out. And fill tool. Next drawing, next drawing, next drawing. Okay. Okay, cool. I only saw one thing right there that seems to be problematic. Yep, that fixed that. Okay, so now what do we need to do with this? Probably something like that. Okay, so now, oh gosh, what do we want to do about the lines? Well, I think I'm going to wing it. Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, now let's get this. Let's work backwards. Okay. Okay, so we got a wipe, wipe, kind of sideways V, sideways Y. Wipe, wipe, sideways V, sideways Y. Yep. And then of course here we'd be able to see one more. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. That was pretty good. It's going by pretty fast, so we might get away with that. Obviously this guy's got no shadows. So file, save all, and what we're going to do is put on the background again. And I think what we will also do is go to the beginning of the shot. So let's set auto markers, and let's just do a proper preview. Whilst I get a drink of my tasty beverage. Okay, that's going to take a while to cache. See, this is why I hit Control R. Because Control R, for some reason, renders the whole thing like a lot faster. A lot faster. Oopsie poop. Bop, bop, bop. Nice. I love the secondary motion on his, yeah, I'm really liking the way this is looking. Liking, looking, liking. I sound like a Dr. Seuss book. Okay. We've been at it for an hour. Now what we need to do is a couple things. First thing we need to do is we've got to create a loop. Gosh, what do we want to use? First of all, I guess let's turn this back off. It's tempting to clean this up, but that would be risky. So I'm thinking we'll fall back on the tried and true. Let's see how this feels. Okay, I don't like that too much at all. I mean, obviously the color's wrong, but I mean, I'm saying the brush is... Let's try this one. Okay, that doesn't seem to be responding to pressure very well. I'm gonna delete that layer or level. I think I'm going to do a tunes raster level. I'm going to do a tunes raster level and just draw the darn thing. Okay, so we've got this sort of, because then I can tweak the color later. Okay, so what we really want to do here is probably create additional drawings as long as we have to. And remember, we can always go back and change it. Okay, I'm guessing we'll probably... So, of course, the question here is it going to wind up being having too much motion? That was the old Smurfs theme song I was just humming, for those of you who are keeping score. Okay, so what we got to do here now is grab this, and let's do a loop on 2s. Fill. 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 Okay. So I guess we should just kind of look at this. Okay, I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try. Okay, so why don't we... guess we could move it over like this and say, let's grab that and repeat up to frame 115 42 times. No. We want all of that. Okay. I think that did the trick. Let's find out. Okay, it's obviously moving too much. So what I'm going to do is... Okay, why is it... Oh, I see, I was at the top. Duh. Okay. So I'm going to take all of this. And I'm going to reframe this on 3s, first of all. Okay, let's see how that feels. Okay. That is actually not too bad if we stretch this one out. Maybe go there. Give a little variety to it, in other words. like I said, I'm spitballing here. I'm just winging it. Yeah, okay. That would probably be okay. So I think what I'll do is grab this. Oh gee, what are the odds it came out to the right length? Okay, so let's go up here. That'll work. That will work. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so we're gonna have to put in shadows. This one actually had a shadow baked into it, but it's really not coming through. So let's stop the looping and look at a preview. Yeah, so what I need to do is give them each shadows, and then of course the second ninja needs shadows on his body as well, not just a cast shadow. So I think with that I'll call it a day. What time is it? Yeah, it's been an hour. And stay tuned, folks, because I'm sure this is going to continue. We're really getting close, actually, to the end of the first shot, and the sort of bench test of OpenTunes and the workflow is, we're pretty complete on that. Feeling pretty good about the direction going forward. And so the next thing that's going to happen, obviously, is there's going to be a really cool battle taking place between Akari and these two bad guys. So stay tuned, tell your friends, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and see you in anime land